Old School Lane Casual Chats is brought to you by the members of oldschoollane.blogspot.com and is associated with manicexpression.webs.com. Welcome aboard to Old School Lane Casual Chats, episode number 4. I am Patricia.
And I'm Kevin.
And today we're about to talk about a very, very awful, serious topic. What happened around last week was the shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut.
Yeah, it's a very hard topic to talk about because I feel that this was a very rough year for 2012. And, you know, I said to myself, it's funny because 2011 was a bad year for me, and then I said, well, hopefully 2012 will be a good year for me. And, you know, I don't want to sound selfish because, you know, I had a lot of personal issues. And I love kids. I really do. I love children. And I hope one day, and that's one day, I'll have a daughter of my own, a baby daughter. And, you know, I feel like I'm a very ugly person. I don't think I'll ever have a girlfriend and thus never have a baby. But when I found out about this was like the icing on the cake for me because it wasn't just baby girls, it was children. It was little kids who, you know, were young, defenseless, and it's very heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is indeed.
And then I said, you know, 2012 really isn't a great year because you also have the Aurora shooting at the movie theater of The Dark Knight Rises.
Yes,
and then you have Hurricane Sandy. And you have all these things that have been going on, and, you know, it's like, when's enough? So it really hit home for me because of what happened to these kids. And I was thinking and I was reflecting to myself, I'll let Patty speak in a little bit, but it really hit home because I was thinking a lot about Columbine. And Columbine happened in 1999, on April 30th of 1999. And I'm doing research on it because I'm currently going to be writing a screenplay that's based on Columbine. And a friend who I no longer talk to, she was like me, she was very obsessed with the incident, had all these books that I took, and because we don't talk anymore through the personal reasons, I have kept them. Where I'm going with this is that it's just how Columbine, with the school shooting, kind of started all this. And I was just thinking about that I was like, wow, because I remember the day of Columbine. And I said to myself, this never happened before where people just came into school and started shooting. And you think after Columbine, you think after the incident, people would learn, what to do. There would be procedures of what to do with a school shooting. But then you had Virginia Tech. You had other shootings. And it's like, when is it going to end?
I don't know, Kevin. As long as there are...
Who had no, it's very heartbreaking. It really is. And I was just, what we wanted to do, me and Patty... we have a lot of things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, just to give you a brief instance, we're still working on the Nickelodeon tribute. Patty's been busy, I've been busy, so we haven't had really time to write any reviews, do any posts. We'll also be talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we'll also be talking about 50-Foot Women, going out with that, and also talking about Mark Weiner of Weinerville,
which we'll get to in another time. But right now, let's just focus on what's really important.
But we decided that we're going to do a talk about the shooting and reflect on that. So and we'll also talk to you about our new intro that we have. But on a serious note, we really want to talk about this. And Patty is going to take over, and she's going to reflect on it and tell you and everyone how she felt about it emotionally. By the way, for any of you who, I wanted to say this out before we continue. When Patty posts this, she's going to give you my email address, and her email address. For any one of you who are very upset by this, you can feel free to talk to us. You know, because I feel like we should be there for one another through these tough times.
Yeah, and also you can post in our blog, or
Yeah.
you can follow me on Twitter.
Yes.
And there's also Manic Expression. So if you feel that you are so scarred and you are so emotionally hurt about these events, then talk to it about somebody, because the best way about going through something like this is to just reflect and to realize how horrible of an event it is, and that we shouldn't just sit down and just ignore it, because eventually it might have turned out to be something worse. They actually did say that it could have been a lot worse.
I really don't know how it could possibly be a lot worse. I mean, you know,
well,
you have
more
these little
kids could have been killed, Kev. If
Well,
it wasn't for the teachers who sacrificed their lives to hide the kids, when Adam Lanza was looking for the kindergarten kids to shoot, one of the teachers lied about saying that the kids ran over to the gym when she actually hid them in a closet. She was shot and killed, and the children who were hidden in the closet were not injured whatsoever. So for many of the teachers who did die, they're heroes.
Well, to be honest with you, it should never have happened.
No,
That's
it shouldn't
the
have.
bottom line.
Exactly, it should have never happened.
I don't care how worse it could have been. I don't care how worse it could have been. It should never have happened, because, and let me tell you something, okay? I understand. First of all, there was something wrong with the shooter. I don't know his name.
His name is Adam Lanza, and apparently he has Asperger's syndrome.
Yeah.
And they blame the Asperger's syndrome with him being deranged by going over to a school, stealing his mother's gun, killing her, and then killing the kids.
Well, personally, my thing is, my belief is that, you know, regardless, if you're having a bad day, or if you're just, you know, you don't go out and kill people, or if there's something wrong, and you know there's something wrong, and I blame the mother for this, because the mother should have took action, and knew that there was something wrong with the child, knew there was something wrong with the killer, and, you know, and they took him to a shooting range. They took him on several occasions to a shooting range. My thing is this: I draw the line when it comes to kids. You know, first of all, I don't think anybody should die. Humans, adults, animals, any living thing their lives should not be taken. However, when it comes to kids, it's tough. It's very hard, because these are innocent kids who can't defend themselves. You know, these were babies. These were 6, 7-year-olds. Their whole lives. Now, when you talk about Columbine, that was just as worse. And those were teenagers, and each of the what was worse about that incident, too, was that the victims all had their lives planned out. And you know, they were older, you know. It's a very tough thing to talk about, because these kids really. I mean, how he got into the school, he used his younger brother's as ID. I mean, it really is. I think personally, the motherfucker, they should take his ashes and they should throw it in the dumpster. That's just me. But I was very upset when I heard this.
Yes, I was very upset about it too. I was at work when this happened.
Me too.
And when one of my coworkers said that the shooting occurred, we were all very shocked about it. We just couldn't believe that something so vile could happen, especially to kids. You're talking about children, first of all. Why would somebody want to do this? Why would somebody want to take the life of a kid away, especially when it's during the holidays? That is absolutely vile and cruel. And I'm just hoping that we can be able to learn a lesson from this. I hope that they can take serious action. Sure, with Columbine and Virginia Tech and Aurora, I'm just hoping that people will finally realize that we need to take action, we need to do something about this, because we don't want something like this to ever happen again.
Well, unfortunately, that's the gun laws of of all these places, because you can go to certain places and pick up a gun like you could pick up a bottle of soda.
Right, you can't do that.
You know, it's really terrible, but that's just the way their laws are.
I know.
Yeah. And when you have someone who's as nuts as who's the killer's name again?
Adam Lanza.
You have someone like Adam who has access to these guns. You know, it's creating a disaster.
Exactly.
You know, my thing is, it's like I said, and I'm a firm believer that they knew something was wrong with him. See, with Columbine, it's a different story. Because with Columbine, and I don't condone what Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold did, by the way. I'm not vouching for what they did. But there was, even though obviously all three of them, there was something wrong with them. But with them, it's that, you know, they planned it. You know, they weren't there wasn't mentally anything, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they weren't autistic.
Right.
As say with Adam. With them, you know, it's like they would kill anything that would walk in that was breathing in that school. But with them, it's just like, you know, I you know, like they knew, the parents didn't think that there was anything autistic with them, is what I'm trying to say. With Adam, they knew something was wrong with him. So right away, why would take with Eric and Dylan, they didn't take him the parents had no idea what was going on. They didn't go in the room, which is what they should have done. They should have went in their room, you know. But with Adam, why would you take him to a shooting range if you knew something was wrong?
Right. I that was a really stupid case to take a kid who is that autistic into a shooting range, and then eventually he's going to go out and he's going to start killing kids. So I'm hoping that President Obama and the rest of the government can be able to get to the source, and I'm hoping that they can be able to just find a way in order for something like this to not happen. Because let's be honest, the kids who survived this travesty, they're not going to go back to that school. Even if the kid is dead, they're scarred for life. They're psychologically scarred for life. They had friends who were killed. They had teachers that were killed. They had siblings that were killed. I wouldn't be surprised if those parents decide never to take them to probably any school again, because with everything that's going on, nowhere is safe.
You know, it's funny. A friend of mine, I won't give her a name, she actually didn't bring, she's actually not taking her kid to school. She actually had her son or daughter stay home. Because, you know, she was like, I don't think I was the only parent who wanted my child to stay home. You're not safe anywhere you go. That's terrible. Because where do you go? Where do you? My thing is, where are you safe nowadays? Where the fuck are you safe? You can't go to school. You can't go to the movie theater. You can't go to the mall. There was a shooting in the mall.
Yes.
I mean, where the hell can a person go nowadays?
Well, bottom line is, even if you go to the safest place on earth, you have to be aware of everything around you. You have to be safe.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Where do you go?
Well, look, Kev, despite all the travesty that's going on, you cannot just hide. That's the bottom line. You just cannot hide anywhere. You have to be safe. You have to be able to take precautions. You have to be able to know when something looks suspicious. When you find that out, you immediately call 911, or you immediately, you know, go somewhere safe that you know for sure that you can be able to avoid something bad like this.
Exactly. My thing is just that, you know, it's a very, I totally agree, but it's just like, you know, it's like, where do you, it's like you're nowhere safe.
Yes, look, it is true, nowhere is safe, but you have to understand something. If you hide, who's going to win in this? Nobody's going to win in this, because you'll be hiding in fear in the events that something may have happened. You have to be able to have the courage to go out there.
Hold on. I'll be honest with you. The reason why this bothers, and I'm going to be honest with everybody, this bothered me very much because it reminded me a lot of Columbine, because what happened was, and I'm saying it's like Columbine because it very much is like Columbine. It was back in 1999. Wow, when this happened, and they let everybody home from school early that day because it was the very first school shooting. And I came home and I was like, what's going on? And my mother and my aunt don't like to tell me things because they know I get upset very easily. So I said, so they didn't want to say anything. So I watched TV, and all over there was like this news footage and of people there was a shooting, but they didn't say it was a school shooting. And I said, what's going on? And I saw Rosie O'Donnell. She was a stand-in, or I think it was a repeat of her show. She was crying about these young people. Finally, I found out that there was a school shooting at Columbine. And then the next day they had the newspaper of all the students that had passed away, along with the teacher, Dave Sanders. And then they were showing live coverage at the funerals of Rachel Scott. She was the first victim that was shot. And it really traumatized me. It really bothered me. I want to turn this conversation into something positive, is why I write this. Because I feel it's something that, it's a story that should be told. And, it's a very heartbreaking story. But it struck a chord because this never happened before. In the 80s, 90s, you didn't hear of anybody going to school shooting. Then when Virginia Tech happened, it was like, I was still upset that all these people died, but then I was like, I'm hoping this was going to be the last. And it wasn't the last. The reason why this bothered me and what I'm trying to say is that you never would think someone would just go to an elementary school and kill little kids. Because it was young adults, it was teenagers, and then you have little kids, little babies. And these were beautiful babies. These were little beautiful babies that looked like they belonged on Gap commercials, and they were like little models. And even the victims of Columbine, very good-looking women, good-looking guys, healthy guys, taken away very young. And it's terrible because, you have no one to be mad at. The mother's dead. He's dead. So who do you take your anger out? Who do you get mad at? And
the only thing you get mad at is that it actually happened. That's all you get mad at. It actually happened.
But when somebody takes someone else's life, I mean, if that was your son or daughter, and you don't know when they're going to be taken away from you, and then you get some asshole, some schmuck who just comes in and takes their life away, who do you get mad at? And he kills himself because he knew he was going to get caught. He knew he was going to get the death penalty. So obviously he killed himself. But you're like, well, who do I get mad at? You can't get just mad at. You want to get mad at somebody.
Well, here's the thing, and this is probably the most difficult thing that any person ever has to do. They have to be able to forgive.
You can't forgive, Pat.
Trust me.
Not when you're...
I know.
No.
I know, Kevin. I know. But listen to me.
Not when they're young kids. Not when they're young kids, Patty.
Regardless.
Not me. I wouldn't forgive him.
Look, even though he is dead, and even though what he did was absolutely awful, you have to be able to let go. Otherwise, if you let it fester in you for the rest of your life, it's going to do some serious damage on you. And trust me.
You could do something positive, like one of the victims of Columbine. He actually rallies against guns. So he actually turned that into something positive. Or you can write a book. Casey Bernard and Rachel Scott, the two of the victims, their families wrote books about them. So there are other possibilities that you can go about.
Yes. Also, you can write cards to them. There is a possibility you can do that. Also, there's writing letters. You can write cards online. They have that if you go to Yahoo, and they have like a little link over there.
The cards to?
To the victims' families. All right, let's just wrap up this topic.
Okay. By the way, we're going to continue because this is a Christmas special. We wanted to light things up, so we're going to continue. Go ahead, Patty.
Anyway, right before we conclude this episode of Casual Chats, let's just take a moment of silence for the 20 kids who passed on, as well as the 6 teachers, and the victims who are suffering at this time. The victims' families who will not see their children for Christmas, will not see them grow up, will not see them get married, will not see them have their own children, and will not be able to see them grow old. So let's just take one little moment of silence and give prayer to the families. Thank you. So, anyway, for all you guys, I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays. Just remember to be safe, be secure, and just please be aware. Remember, there's no time like the present for you to appreciate what life has to offer. So, this has been another episode of Casual Chats. Tune in next time. We'll get into more lighthearted stuff. We have a really, really funny episode coming up. But until then, this is Patricia.
This is Kevin.
And we'll see you on the next one. Take care.